redmage.com/Discord. I know that we've got some other callers hanging on the line. We're going to get to you guys here in a few minutes. But first, Juxta.
Yeah.
Now, I know that I can't ask you about Ninja because I
haven't even touched Ninja since Stormblood came out, so... Fair. You'll have to defer to Kahlo, but I've been...
So, I'm going to have to ask you about a job that you play but have, I don't know, like not a whole lot of respect for, and that's Red Mage. So tell us about one of the two new jobs that were added with Stormblood and Red Mage.
All right, so... Red Mage, as fun as it is actually pretty... I'm not very happy with it right now.
It's easy. But they bang.
Well, they bang, that's for sure, but the problem is that the bang is too easy. And what I mean by that is I feel like Red Mage is a 2.0 job. Like, it's so basic. Like, it doesn't have, like, any finesse to it. There's no skill required with this. All you have to do is just manage your white and black mana levels appropriately, and you'll do pretty close to max DPS.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference between the worst Red Mage and the best Red Mage.
Exactly. Like, you just go through, you hit your procs as they come out, you hit your cooldowns as they come up, and that's Red Mage for you. Like, you hit it's so, like, coming from Ninja and even like stuff like White Mage, like, it just seems like it's so easy and so basic. Like, it's not like, it doesn't even feel like a finished job at this point, because like our level 70 ability is basically like a rehash of our 68 ability, except it's for white magic instead of black magic.
What now? Yeah, because I was really interested in Red Mage and how would it end up feeling like a Red Mage in the Final Fantasy arc of things?
No.
Nika.
Well, I mean, I guess.
Nika, you think that Final Fantasy 15 feels like a Final Fantasy game? Shut the fuck up.
It does.
Well, then your opinion is bad. I want to hear at least.
Your opinion is bad.
I want to hear at least someone who's actually spent time playing the job, who has expectations for how it should play, and.
So let's get Strife on the show again, then, because he can give a much better judgment than Jackson.
Well, you know what? I was going to finish by saying Anne doesn't think that Final Fantasy 15 has Final Fantasy qualities to it. Ugh.
It does.
Stop.
It doesn't.
Stop.
That was last show anyway.
Anyway.
But no, like, if you want to like make like Red Mage feel like a real job, like, for starters, you have to have like more than just your quote your burning mana phase with your melee abilities, more than literally a 1-2-3 combo. Like, that's it. Like, your melee stuff, you just hit 1, 2, 3, and then you're done. There's absolutely, like, we always like joke and like talk about how jobs have like no like diversity or whatever. But for Red Mage, like, your melee shit is literally 1, 2, 3, and then that's it. Like, for starters, you should have had like a dot you can throw in there or something, like some way, like, instead of just like getting your mana filled all the way up to 80 or 90 and then go through your combo, you should be able to like have like a melee dot that uses some of your mana but not all of it. So you have to like balance it and plan it out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like Red Mage, even just picking it up, is you can master it in the first few minutes that you're playing it. Like, there's never a moment where you have to make a decision like that. You know, if you had something like Juxta saying where like, oh, I might not, if I do this, I'm not gonna have enough mana to finish out my chain, but maybe the dot would be worth it since there's a phase push coming up. Like,
right?
It's so like the best thing to do is always blatantly apparent to you.
So
yeah.
Red Mage does have Moodra type lag though sometimes, where it doesn't proc double cast right away and you start long casting your big moves. Oh my god.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
So
it's the worst.
So it sounds like, Juxta, you're kind of complaining that Red Mage doesn't have enough of what I actually like about Dark Knight, where there are certain situations where it is, more beneficial to fire off a Dark Arts because of the added status effects that gets put onto it, as opposed to waiting and holding that back.
Yeah, there's literally no decision making whatsoever beyond, should I pop my cooldowns now or later?
That's real. I think that's really disappointing. I mean, I know that Square Enix said that they wanted.
It's super disappointing when you compare Red Mage to the 11 Red Mage, which had a ton of decision making. Should I actually try healing this person, or should I actually continue on going with my refresh and haste rotation, or should I be a benefit to the party and cast enfeeble magics on the mob, or should I say
I don't know. I don't think there was that much
melee Red Mage?
I mained Red Mage in all of Endgame in 14 or in 11, and I don't think that there was that much at all. Basically, my party was like, "You're healing this round," and that was my only option.
Well, that's because you were a bad Red Mage and they knew it.
No, that's because I was in an Endgame Link show that did shit. Like when we killed Pandemonium Warden, I think I only.
Oh, you mean like logging out
healed,
and just jumping over all mechanics?
And then when you in between heals, you do enfeebles always. You don't ever decide between to enfeeble or to cure. Like
yeah,
you
but
have
at
to
the
keep
same
your enfeebles up at all times. That's just what you do.
But at the same time, I mean, like a Link Shell that's operating on that kind of level is not going to have you doing worthless shit, right? Like that's why they would have me stand around and meditate up to full TP and then go in and do one weapon skill and then come back out because it took more time and MP and effort to raise my dead ass from standing out there. But that's you know, like that was the efficiency part of 11, right? Like that doesn't really play a role here. So what I wanted to ask Juxta is what he thought that Square Enix could either change or where, you know, like they could improve on Red Mage and make it feel more quintessentially Red Mage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For starters, like the spells, like your stone and your fire, like your basic spells, they should do something different between the two of them. Even if it's something as basic as one gives more mana than the other one, that is really important between giving the job like a dynamic and making you have to think on your feet, because then your mana balance are going to get imbalanced throughout the course of the game. Right now they're equal, so they're always going to be equal throughout the entire fight, so there's just no point. To start with, they should probably do at least that, but they also just have like different effects too, like maybe like a slow or something. But like just give us something more. And
you sound like you're asking for enfeebles.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. Well, I mean, Red Mage was the quintessential enfeebler too, but you know, I guess they're trying to get away from Final Fantasy 11 because we don't have
enfeebles
refresh.
Are horrible in general.
I mean,
like any enfeebles that are ever in this game get resisted by the big bosses anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a bummer too because Red Mage aesthetically like works so well, and like the jumping around is really neat conceptually. So there's a lot to work with. Like the problem is like when you strip away all that aesthetic to it, what's underneath it is really, really basic.
Yeah. That's kind of disappointing to hear, I think. You know, because we've long kind of suspected, and I mean, if you want to choose different words, accused Square Enix of you know, making the jobs pretty similar on paper and then changing the names of the animations and maybe some small variations between the two to distinguish in, you know, roles in a role type situation, you know, how the jobs operate one against another. But really, you know, when you get right down to it, most of the abilities are pretty similar one against another. You know, if you have you know, a bard and a machinist, they really end up filling a lot of the same roles in terms of party comps. So, you know, I don't think that you do. I think the most that the most that you have here is you know, Square Enix giving validity to the idea that, well, we could take a bard or a machinist and not giving statistical preference to one over the other. And I think that they do that in a lot of ways and in a lot of cases to the detriment of their game, because again, like what it really does not feel all that different to play one melee DPS against another, right? Like there's some combo differences, there's some rotational differences, but at the end of the day, they feel very, very similar.
Yes and no, but I might be spoiled with by playing Ninja, because Ninja felt completely different from Monk and Dragoon when I played.
That is true.
When I leveled them up.
That is true.
At the same time, Monk and Dragoon did feel pretty much similar when I was leveling them up in Heaven's Ward. So
well, and the tanks are really bad because the tanks are almost identical one next to each other, and it's just.
I don't feel like in Stormblood they felt that way though. Like I can distinctly tell I felt I had a different experience playing each of the different tanks.
Are you saying that between 60 and 70 specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
specifically.
I will give you that, and I can speak the least to that. Because that's what I've experienced the least of. But I would say prior to this, because I had leveled all of the tanks in Heavensward, that prior to this, that the tanks did feel very much the same one against
they
another.
kinda did.
It was really like just the names or the animations on the cooldowns or that were different. And
that's why I hated Dark Knight more, is because they all felt the same, except Dark Knight I'd run out of MP and fuck up my dark side all the time, so I said fuck Dark Knight.
Right.
And the rest,
'Cause you're
and then
bad.
between Paladin and Warrior, I was like, whatever. They're,
Well, I mean, it would be like Paladin running out of TP and then losing some kind of status effect because of it. Like the fact that you dropped Dark Side when you ran out of MP was, I think, the really big problem there, because you could notice obviously that you were out of MP because you'd stopped doing animations, but then it would take at least maybe either until the end of the pack to realize that, oh, Darkside's still fucking down. You know what I mean? Like that, I think was a pretty big and necessary change that they made in between Heavensward and Stormblood, and one that I quite liked. Yes, it made the job a little bit easier, and dummies, got a free pass, for not having something that identified them as a dummy. But I think that all of that was a step in the right direction. I'd be interested now to kind of level Warrior between 60 and 70 and see what kind of differences I notice between Dark Knight and Warrior. That's probably not going to happen. I'll probably end up leveling, if anything else, I'll end up leveling a DPS job just so I can feel like it's different. But again,
I don't think Warrior is as fun this time around, personally.
You don't?
Just because they make it, because you can do 3 fell cleaves so easily now, and I feel like the fun part
They're just
of me
giving it to you.
on Warrior, they do. And the fun part of me on Warrior is being able to time all of my cooldowns and things nicely enough that I get those 3 fell cleaves within that berserk timer before it wears off. It was so satisfying.
Yes,
when
I was just about to say that. I know
has been removed completely
That
from
sucks.
the feeling of Warrior.
That
which is
sucks.
why I actually am enjoying Dark Knight now much more than Warrior, when pre-Stormblood it was the opposite.
Yeah, no,
Red Mage never gets that feeling, by the way.
boo. No. But
Samurai
I
kinda
understand.
does.
I understand.